I'll call the meeting to order. One salute to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now roll call of members.
Mayor Moore,
Here.
Trustee Kim Trombley. Yes. Trustee Greg Martin.
Here.
Trustee Steve Southwick.
Here.
Trustee Amy Garrett. Here.
At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the meetings of December 12th meeting and January 4th special meeting.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Just one clarification on page 9, next to the last page. Under Mayor Moore stated that there are 2 seminars pertaining to employee behavior that Superintendent Bissell should attend. Was it both or just one?
It was just this one.
Okay, so that,
There was a little bit of a confusion on which one it was. I brought this in.
so it's just the one seminar.
Right. Is there any other discussion or corrections? All in favor of accepting the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. At this time, I'd like to present the Holiday Decorating Awards. We had some really nicely decorated houses this year, and I'm very proud of everyone. Third place went to Donald Castine. Second place, Tom and Neela Van. Good job.
It's only going to get better.
And first place, John and Geraldine Rao. Good job.
Yes, good for you.
My segment's happy with me.
Yeah.
Okay, at this time, we would entertain questions from the community on any issues. Mike?
I've got one on the water issue. I know the village is looking into it, and a couple things came up this past week. One, I had for my home, I had a home inspection, and when they did the home inspection with FHA, so of course they go through everything. They noticed that the pressure was really low, so they recommended that I put a shallow well pump in, which shouldn't be a problem, but it raises the issue of the water pressure up there, because they did do a test on it, and it's only 13 psi at the faucet. And by going to the water course that I went to, I checked into some information on the state recommendations for water pressure, and it says no lower than 20. So I guess that kind of tells us we're in violation on that to the health department, so I don't know, just to make everybody aware of that. I know we're looking into it, but I don't know, what steps in the meantime to make it so that it's not really a big problem. I don't know if there's any. You know what I mean?
Well, short term, there probably isn't a good answer for that. We are looking into the water pressure problems. We're doing a joint study with the town right now. So maybe we will have some answers. I'm not sure what the answer is. We're having Bernier Carr look into that to see what might be the solution. It may or may not be something easy. I would guess it's probably not if it hasn't. It's been like that for quite a few years.
Right.
So
I'm just kind of surprised that in the past, and nothing, I mean, by the code for the state, it is in violation, so I'm surprised in the past, it's not putting anything on anybody, but it wasn't brought up, anytime before to have it corrected. And I know, from what I understand, I'm not really positive, I don't know how the line works, but I guess some of the homes up there are on the feed line to the tower, how they come off, and it's a 12-inch main. And I guess, well, the engineers will figure it out, but the only way to actually pressurize that, to get pressure, is if you have a dead-end system, because even if you put a tower in, it's not going to help that area any, because it's feeding up, not coming down, so.
right, when the tank is filling, it neutralizes the pressure. Yeah.
You lose there.
In the coming months, we probably have some answers for you, but for right now, I don't. Bob?
Basically the same problem, but at the present time, we're paying water and sewer. And we're not getting the pressure that the village should be supplying us. Therefore, we have to turn around and buy a $300 pump, pay for electricity to run that pump, so that we can get the pressure that we should be getting anyway from the village. So, at the present time, until you fix the problem, it's not fair for myself and other people on that street to be paying the same amount of water and sewer that anywhere in this town is getting, you know, a lot more pressure than we are. And I don't mind paying for it if I'm getting it, but I'm not getting it. And I'm also paying electricity on top of that, and a $300 pump.
Yeah, well, I don't have
Doesn't seem very fair.
answer for you at this time. I mean,
Yeah, well,
none of us here, I think, know the answer to the problem. I know it's a long-standing problem. It's been there as long as I can remember, so. We will have some answers in the coming months, but for right now, we don't.
you know, I put a pump in with a switch on it. Okay, and it's 20/40. When it drops off down to 20 pounds, it comes on, okay, and pumps up to 40. When it drops off to 20 pounds, my pump kicks in. I'm still hearing air coming out of my shower head, which means there's no way I'm getting 20 pounds pressure from the village. You know?
That's altogether possible.
Yeah, it's the way it is. But why should I have to pay twice? You know, I'm paying for the water from the village. Plus I'm paying for electricity from your gas and electric, so I can get the pressure that the village should be feeding me in the first place.
Well, all I can tell you is that I'm going to repeat it again.
It doesn't seem fair, does it?
We're looking into it, and we will get some answers, but I can't answer your question right now because I don't know the answers. I'm not an engineer, and I'm not sure what the answer would be. But we are looking into it, Bob, and that's all I can tell you. In the coming months, we'll have a much better answer for you.
Well, you guys should get together and take a look at reducing the rates for the people that are not getting the pressure that the other people in town are getting, to make it fair for everybody.
Well, we can look into that, Bob. We'll look at that. Are there any other comments? John?
Yeah, just recently there was a petition being circulated around the village in reference to the Justice of the Peace position, I believe.
Justice.
Justice,
Village Justice.
village justice position. And I'd like to have you clarify, if there's enough signatures on that petition, it goes up for a referendum. If it goes for a referendum, then the people vote. If they vote in favor, is the position reinstated?
Well, it hasn't officially gone yet. I don't know, what's the last date for the petition to be handed in, if somebody wants to hand one in?
In January 11th.
Okay, so if someone hands in a petition and they have the correct amount of valid signatures, it would go to referendum. And however the referendum turns out, whether it's aye or nay, that's how it would turn out. So the position isn't officially ended until either no one files a petition or someone files a petition and we have a referendum.
As I understand it, he is also a justice in the town, is that correct?
That is correct.
And so you people abolished the position in the village, and you're saving how much money? $12,000 a year, which to me is significant. And if he is a justice in the town, I would think that he would be able to cover the village. In other words, I don't think, it doesn't look like it's necessary, the position, but are we forced, if it goes up for a referendum, and the people vote in favor of it, is there nothing can be done?
That would be correct. The referendum would decide the outcome of the position.
And that's the reason why we went this route. Two parts of it are, one, the amount of money that we generate to offset the expense, and the second thing is, it's, in my view, the duplication of service. And one of the things that the state is pushing on us is to try to eliminate as many of those duplicate services as we can, as long as it doesn't affect the village taxpayers. And I don't see that this does.
That there's no legal way that you can, if it goes to referendum and the people vote in favor of it, there's no legal way of abolishing the position, is that correct?
Yeah, that would be correct. I think that's the way it goes, right, Juanita?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any other comments? If not, we'll proceed with Mike Taco's code enforcement report.
Last month you asked me to check on a property with the windows in the basement. I checked on them. The screen there is a 2-inch by 2-inch screen. I did call the person that was in contact with her about boarding them up solid, and he told me that he would try to have him do it, but I see it hasn't happened yet. There's an extraordinary amount of cats around there. That's another issue. So we're back to what's the board's pleasure here. Other than the basement windows, the building is secure. Nobody can get in or out without either breaking a lock or pulling off some boarded up windows.
Yeah, I had a question. Did the old village hall, is that accessible now? I noticed there's a lot of newly broken windows in there.
Which building is this?
The old
The
fire
one right on the
station.
corner.
Oh, Titanium arrow ones there.
Yes.
I did send them another certified letter, and I don't believe we haven't gotten a response from the first letter we sent. I haven't gotten one from the second one, and yeah, and the windows are broke, and there's issues there with that building.
Can we board them up? Charge.
Not sure on that. We'd have to,
Might be a legal question.
yeah, we should probably bring that up to Mr. Keeble and see what we can do in that situation where they don't get back to us.
It would seem to me that if it's a health hazard,
Did we send the letter registered, Mike?
Both times.
Did we get the response back that he received it?
so that if it's a health hazard, we could do it, board it up and then add it to the tax bill.
It's definitely a risk, that's for sure.
Actually, the one on the corner of church is more of a risk than this other one as far as, neighborhood kids getting into it. There's a lot of dangerous glass in that building that the windows are falling out or they're breaking them, whatever's going on. But the other building, my only concern is I know there's a water meter in there. If that freezes, that's going to be another disaster because there's no heat in that building, but I understand the water meter is the private owner's responsibility, but
The water shut off to the building?
I don't know that.
We're talking about Swears?
Yeah,
It's shut off.
from the curb stop on the street.
Yes, isn't it, Woody?
I don't know.
There is no functioning water in that building anymore. I believe it's all.
Shut off
put-
last year.
But other than that, whatever you want me to do. But as far as large animals getting into that basement, I don't think that's gonna happen. Mice, rats, that type of stuff, well, there's enough cats around there, I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
You get hungry, you have to eat them, right?
Well,
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mike?
So what would be our next course of action?
Well, I think we have to ask Mr. Keeble that also. We have, I think that has to be a priority in the coming year. I took a walk through downtown Sunday, and there's some places that really, something has to happen. I mean, it not only looks bad, it is bad. And I don't know, so how long we wait till the roofs cave in. I know maybe in some cases we would have to, and, you know, I only can look at the Hotel Flanagan and Malone and say, it's probably not that easy to do, but I guess we have to really make it a priority to try to do what we can to.
A lot of these places
alleviate this.
are absentee owners who don't live in the village. Some of them are pretty good about working with you when you call them, but some of them just absolutely ignore you. They could care less. And unfortunately, it's gonna cost money to enforce this stuff. And when you get into court, you're hoping that you get more than a $10 fine out of it, if, you know, if it goes that far.
Well, we plan on taking the necessary steps this year to, you know, beef up the code if necessary, and we're gonna budget some money where we can start going after these places, maybe only one at a time, but we really need to do that.
The other thing, I've been over to Price Chopper, that's coming along pretty good. They're working on the inside and the outside. I can't get a date yet when they're gonna be open. They wouldn't tell me that.
One of the guys that's working in there told me May now.
Yeah, I've heard a couple different scenarios, but, and the other project, the strategic lens on the industrial park that's coming along real good too. They've had a good winter to be working outdoors in, so they're really making good progress. So if we can only get 5 more buildings in that part, I'd be happy.
Now, have you heard the rumor about the Dunkin' Donuts and Taco Bell going into the 1187 diner?
Oh, I've heard all kinds of stories, but nobody has officially
Confirming,
called
no
me.
official?
No one from either one of those companies has called me or asked me, or I just hear the coffee shop gossip. So.
Okay.
Nothing with
Lots
the
of theories.
Nothing with the old dog store, Mike?
No.
How about the building on Church Street next to Cast Irons?
Decathlon?
He's boarded that up, and they he wants to put in some, he has different ideas on some sort of small businesses to go in there, but nothing concrete. So for now, they just boarded up the windows, which was an issue for a while, and they're gonna be doing the interior, putting up sheetrock, wallboard, and new lights, and then at some point in time, there'll be a determination as to what kind of business can they put in there. But there are some very strict restrictions with that building. There's no land with it. So any type of business going in there, parking is going to be an issue. Whether they park on the street, there's very little parking, if any at all, around the building. So I've explained this to him, and he still seems to have some ideas. So when they get finalized and they decide what they want to do, then we'll go from there. But till then, lots of theories.
Well, it would be good to see somebody in there.
Yeah.
Taking care of it.
And that's it.
Thank you, Mike. Now we'll move with the officers' reports. Don't have much this month. The one thing I do want to bring up is that I'd like to begin the budget workshops February 6th, 20th, and 27th. They're all Mondays.
6th, 27th?
6th, 20th, and 27th. Charlie 6:30.
I can't do the 20th. I can do the 10th.
I think we'll have enough time for this budget so that we'll be able to proceed in a more leisurely fashion. Although we do have a lot of things on our plate for this year's budget. And the other thing is that the department heads need to have their budget proposals in by February 1st so that we can look at those. What do you want to
Should have changed from 27th to office by January 27th.
You thought you had told me the end of January, so I put the last Friday in on the memo.
Oh, okay, well,
So you have it for the weekend.
all right, yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Probably change, instead of February 1st, out of January 27th. And that's all I had. Any questions on my report? Now we proceed to trustee Champlain.
I really don't have much. It was a quiet holiday. Congratulations to the winners of the decorating contest. It's always nice to see people in the village get involved. The only other thing that I wanted to ask was, Mike, I was going to bring up this Ridge property and like, what is our next course of action? Is it now got to go to Mr. Keeble to?
Well, we're to that point where the village would have to appoint a surveyor, someone that would go with myself to assess the property, and then the owner of the property has the same opportunity. Then you're supposed to compare notes, and if everybody's in agreement, then you decide on the next course of action. But if the property owner doesn't wish to be a part of this, then it's the village's responsibility to accept the surveyor or whoever, reviewer, for lack of a better term, would just, just decide what the problem is and what the remedy should be.
Mr. Cable thinks it should be condemned, torn down.
I think the building may be salvageable if we can clean it out.
Well, that's why a survey is done,
Right.
to get an impartial person to look
What does that
and
cost?
make an
A
assessment.
surveyor, have you checked that out, or is there
Well,
people
my
out
fee
there
to the
call
village
surveyors?
would probably be quite a bit, but.
Your fee?
No, well, a surveyor, it doesn't have to be an architect or an engineer or any professional person. It just needs to be someone else, acting as a witness more than anything else, probably. But it would be nice if someone had a background in, building design, construction, engineering, that type of stuff. Because you would get a more professional opinion versus just a common comment.
So can we proceed with that? Look into some people, bring it to us next meeting, who are some of your choices, and
Well, we can proceed, you can bring that up under new business.
Yeah.
And, if you want to
give us
know
some
that,
ideas.
let's go to that step.
Give you an idea on the cost, and I just had one down on mine. It was $475 for that. That was Morrison Miller. That was Plattsburgh.
Yep, so
Morrison Miller.
the health department doesn't provide those services?
The health department?
Yeah.
No.
We don't have an officer that does that comes in and...
no,
But it's
health
not-
department will not go in that home unless it's a risk to, no, the health department won't do it.
All right.
Yeah, we tried.
Anything else?
And no, I have not started looking at the cable franchise yet, but I'm just so excited to dig into that. How did I get that?
Go with Pat.
By default.
Yeah, I kept doing this.
I don't think she can hear that meeting.
Thank goodness.
Okay, are there any questions for Kim? Now we'll proceed with trustee Martin's report.
Finally, I think some progress is being made in the shared services. We all understand that this engineering study needs to be made first, and we've had some meetings with the villages and the town. And I guess first of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Tatro for setting this all up for us. He's been a great facilitator and push, if you will, to get some things done. I'm sure Steve is going to elaborate on this. We should have something definite on this grant that has to be in on Friday the 13th, tomorrow night. And I guess before I forget that, the persons filling out this grant application for us request that we all be at the meeting tomorrow night so that we can look at this, so that we can finalize, so that there's no surprises for us. Steve will probably talk a little bit about some of the aspects of this grant. It's exciting, I think, because some progress is finally being made here after a number of years in terms of getting the engineers in to look at the town, our needs, prioritize our needs, to work with the town of Champlain to look at their needs as well. We've got a large number of projects here that need to be examined very closely. And it's encouraging that we have correspondence from Senator Little that will allow us, or she's going to write letters of support for us and perhaps provide us with some maybe provide us with some funds for the study. Maybe in next year's budget, we have to come up with 10% matching funds. Maybe that can be included in the budget next year or something of that effect so that we can make sure that we get this study done, because that's going to give us the figures we need for any other grant in water and in wastewater treatment plant. And part of that $185,000 was included in this grant. We're making steps, positive steps. That's all I have. I'm sure Steve will have more.
Okay, any questions for Greg?
But I highly encourage all of us to attend this meeting tomorrow.
What, and where is this?
At the town board meeting at 7 o'clock.
Trustee Southwick?
Just want to mention what Greg said, that thanks a lot to Mickey for making this work. We're struggling at first to try to get all the parties together with the change in the town. Board members, kind of made it a little helter-skelter. And because of the timeline of this thing having to be completed by Friday, it's really put a big push on Juanita, Donna, our staff, to get the information that's needed in order to qualify for even applying for this grant. And that's, I think, what I wanted to mention to you guys, that this is the study that we need to determine why the pressures are the way they are and what we can do in order to make them better. We examine flows, we examine the tank for our own benefit, but that benefit also benefits the town outside users. And the Shared Services Committee is designed to try to see what we can do as a village to market these services to people outside in the town, to try to offset some of the expenses that we incur as village residents without any loss of service to village residents. Now, there's the new border crossing, the new facility up there, that will be affected by this. The town has other projects that they want to pursue as well. So it really does fit well. Ross's Point's going to be involved, and I think it's very encouraging.
It's in future development.
Right.
It's not just today, it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now.
That's really all I have.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a little comment on that for anyone who hasn't been following this. What we're attempting to do with the town and the village of Rouse's Point is to come up with an asset management plan so that we're not going in different directions, proceeding helter-skelter. What exactly will help us out, what projects we need to do next, where we go from there. And it's a preliminary study at this point. What makes sense? I know it sounds simple, like, well, we have a problem here, let's fix it. We have a problem there, let's fix it. But it all has to fit into the grand plan. And Greg and Steve have been doing extra work on this, trying to make sure that, and with everyone else, that Vicky in the town and also the village of Rouse's Point, to make sure that we don't make mistakes as we go. We want to do things right to make it work, and this is the logical process that we have to go through to get the correct answers, instead of trying to patch things, but what will work now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, and correct problems that we have. So we're all pretty excited about this and hoping that some good will come of it. Thanks, Steve. I appreciate what you're going to be doing. I know you spend a lot of evenings on this. Is there any questions for Steve? No. Trustee Garrett's report?
One, I'd like to call an executive session to discuss the proposed wage increases for the employees as they obtain licenses for the different levels of the licenses. Two, Winter Carnival, I am looking at February 24th, 25th, and 26th. I am in need of large boxes, so anyone buying any appliances, television sets, refrigerators, those we use to pack the snow in for the sculpting. We're hoping to have a toboggan race, sledding races, looking at a bake-off. So there's several things that And nothing is firm yet, but these are the ideas that are out there. We are soliciting different organizations to run the different events. So the more events I get, the longer it will be. So obviously by our next meeting, everything will be nailed down. I'll get with Press Republican, we'll get a big article written up, and we'll get posters and stuff out to let people know. It'll be the second weekend of the kids' winter break, and I believe that is the 24th, 25th, 26th. But I do need boxes. Any boxes can be brought right here to the village, and Woody will store them for me in the back.
Congratulations.
And just keep praying for snow once February comes, so we have lots of it. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Amy. I hope it's a success.
Me too.
Are there any questions for Amy?
I have just one comment. If you're looking for boxes, you may try Ray's Appliance in Rouse's Point.
Okay.
He generally has a large number of big boxes, refrigerators, washing machines. that
I'll
type
check.
of
Yeah, I was
stuff.
planning on checking with all the big guys. That's a good idea. Thanks.
There was a thing in the price tracker, giving supplies away, cups and paper plates and stuff.
Yeah, they always do. So there's I won't have a problem with that kind of donation at all. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Amy.
Welcome.
Another report of the clerk treasurer.
Everyone has been covered with revenue and expense report. We also have done our water and sewer billing for October, November, and December. The water is a total of $46,855.50, and sewer, it was $77,724.87. We have two purchase requests. One is for drum band, excuse me.
I gave the mayor another purchase request just prior to the meeting for 2 tires for the band
This is
and a
here.
drum of hydraulic oil.
I just want to say thanks, Juanita, for highlighting the things that are running behind budget. That's a big help for us to focus on those items and help us in budget time. Okay, we have four purchase orders. This time I entertain a motion to pay for them, and I'll read them off.
So moved.
Second? Okay. They are for a Fastenal drum stand, $75. A ring seal for the front-wheel drive on New Holland, $79.
Delete that one.
Oops, we don't need- okay, very good. One for hydraulic oil, 55-gallon drum at $279. Rear tires for the van, $110 each, for a total of $220. And pintle hitch and pintle receiver.
Pinto hitch.
Yeah. Pinto. Yeah.
P-I-N-T-O?
No.
We don't
T-O.
know Pinto, do we?
Pinto. For a total of $145. Okay, have any discussion?
We have on the warrant payment.
Well, we're doing the POs
Yeah,
here.
but there's a tire here, there's tires for a 93 Ford van on here, is that?
Those were the front tires.
Front
Okay,
tires.
so it's not in the warrant.
And the back tires didn't quite make inspection either.
Probably could have replaced them all. Any other discussion? Questions?
Hydraulic fluid, can that be budgeted? Are we budgeting that, or we just?
That was in the budget for oils. You know, it's a regular routine piece of product that we use every day.
Right.
Okay, well, we'll proceed to vote. Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Mayor Moore, aye. Trustee Southwick.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Motion is passed. At this time, I would entertain a motion to pay the warrant.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Discussion?
Have you received the Williamson Law Book?
That's $750.
Yeah.
That is the service fee, isn't that the?
Right, the service fee for, it's our yearly maintenance agreement for, each program has a yearly maintenance agreement. I'm not sure which one that is for.
Are there any other questions on the warrant? If not, we'll proceed to vote. Trustee Trombley.
Aye.
Trustee Martin.
Aye.
Mayor Moore, aye. Trustee Southwood.
Aye.
Trustee Garrett.
Aye.
Ayes have it. We'll now have the report of the superintendent.
Unfortunately, I did not turn in my report to Donna. It was mixed in my papers. I have a few things to bring up. The van did not pass inspection. We have some repairs that are going to have to take place. Some of them might be rather expensive. Steering box is leaking hydraulic fluid again. It went to be repaired last year. It was just a hose.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Aye.
Last month I was going to get some quotes on the meter reading machine because ours is working intermittently. I have 2 quotes right now. And I have another supplier coming in Friday to meet with us, to meet with me and see what we can do about meter pricing. And the mayor asked about a cheap vehicle for the $6,000 to $8,000 range at the last meeting. They're all in the high mileage range. You know, you're looking at 60,000 miles plus for the $6,000 to $8,000 range, if not higher. For $3,000 more at the $8,000 top end, you can buy a brand new 2-wheel drive pickup with limited or no maintenance. So we could look at maybe budgeting that into the new budget year. Conroy's and Conroy's contacted me a week or so ago during the holidays. They're having problem getting NYSEG to run their electric because they didn't put proper machinery or components in. They want to tap off our lift station until spring, until NYSEG can shoot under the road and run the proper wiring. We do have on Pocket Boulevard. The lift station and Imperial Optical is on the same side of the road. But right now, the frost is so deep, NYSEG isn't even going to attempt to shoot electrical lines and install transformers for the new building. But the contractors need electricity.
How would we get it? That's on the other side of the road though, isn't it?
But our lift station's on the same side of the...
It's on the same side?
Yeah. They've offered to pay for all the electrical work to provide power to their building and absorb our electrical bills at the lift station, as long as they're utilizing it.
So is that separately metered?
Separately metered, it's 1 meter there.
So whatever the bill is, they pay for it. I guess that's what we're getting at.
Yeah. And I'll put that in writing.
We'll have to explore that and get something in as a contract.
We might want to have them sign some kind of a statement. We might have to bring that to Jim that we don't have any liability for any electrical accidents that happen due to the hookup.
Or damage to the lift station.
They don't want to change the service billing. They just want to be copied with the bill. We pay the bill and then they're going to reimburse us for the bill instead of trying to create this whole turmoil through NYSEG. And it would probably get all balled up.
Yeah, we probably need some kind of simple agreement though that would cover us and them. So maybe look into that, Woody.
I'm sure Jim has something or something like that.
We also have the sidewalk snow blower is cutting our cleanup time by 3 days for snow removal alongside the roads. So we've used it twice, broke 6 hydraulic lines, but it works.
Why are we breaking hydraulic lines?
They're old.
How did that, I know you tried out the extended chute from Rouse's Point. How did that work?
I had some feedback, Terry. He was the operator of the machine, he could probably tell you a little bit better.
Yep, makes things a lot easier because the truck just falls right along the side of it. You put it right into the truck and away you go. We did Church Street and all of Main Street in less than a day.
Yeah, I'm amazed how fast that stuff moves, that thing moves snow, and it's very maneuverable.
It looks good too.
Mhm.
Tom, it's much safer for everybody with these sidewalks cleaned immediately, it's great.
Yeah, I can walk to church on the sidewalk.
We're progressing with the one person in the truck. It seems to be working. It's a case-by-case basis, depending on what Mother Nature decides to do with us. If it's blowing this nasty, real lot of snow, then we'll be able accordingly. I think I've covered everything that I had to cover.
I thought we replaced that steering box on that van already once, didn't we?
No, we pulled the bills out from last year, and they found it was a leaky hose, and the hose was replaced, but the box wasn't.
Okay.
So I'm gonna see what a new one costs, and then go check through St. John's Recycling up in Quebec.
It was sent down there because the seal was leaking on that steering box, and that's why it was sent down there. He said it was the lines was leaking. The lines aren't leaking. I loosened up all the lines and stuff onto it, so he wouldn't have a problem with it. We just don't have the stuff here to do it.
What's happening with the Bobcat too, we were talking about, not the Bobcat. The $45,000 we spent.
Oh, that's right.
Medical.
Oh, thank you, Bobcat.
Excuse me, forgot about that one. The New Holland is exhibiting all kinds of problems. About 3-4 weeks ago, the front seal started leaking in the front end of the four-wheel drive. Unfortunately, there's only 1-year warranty. We purchased that in April of 2004. It has 615 hours on it. We took it all apart, the crew did. Had the manufacturer's rep show up and say, well, we don't know if we're going to go good for the shaft because it's all scored and the steel would not retain to keep the oils in. I haven't heard back from Tracy Road Equipment. Maybe we should explore trading that in towards a machine that has a local supplier instead of somebody in Adams Center, which is out near Watertown.
Yeah, we have had a lot of problems with getting service on that particular unit, and we've had a lot of problems with it. It's a fairly new machine. If we could make some kind of arrangement where you get something a little newer, better.
Bayshard's can't help us with that?
It's farm machinery at Mr. Bayshard's, and Tracy's is New Holland Construction. Two different entities.
The problem
We
is
have-
it's cheaply made. I'm sorry.
I just want to remind, I should have reminded everybody at the beginning, but the board meeting is for the board. We have a public comment session, and to get through all the business, we really need to transact our business, and the meeting is for the board to transact their business, so, you know, you give everybody time at the beginning to make their comments, and if everybody gets into it, we'll be here a lot longer than we need to be, so.
The other thing is with the filters on that machine, they're New Holland specific. You cannot cross them through any of the suppliers in the area to get filters for that machine. You have to buy New Holland filters, which are probably 40% more than the filter I could buy at Napa or any one of the auto parts stores who supply hydraulic and oil and air filters.
Well, I don't know, I'm all for exploring our options. I don't know how the rest of you feel, but we can see what's available, what we can do. If it works out good, if it doesn't, well,
Well, if
we'll
it's
see.
not,
Could you get back to us on that, Woody, what you find out about that?
I can work on that. And talk to a couple of the local. We have Southworth Milton, which is a cat dealer, and I can't think of their name right now. Nortrax. Down in Plattsburgh, which is a John Deere dealer.
Now, from what we've seen, maybe somebody a little closer might be more responsive to our, I know there was some problems with that the first year we had it, and
It took us almost,
they didn't really make good on it.
it took us almost a year to, over a year, just to get them to come up to adjust the hydraulic pressure relief valve.
what were the circumstances by which we acquired that piece of equipment?
The John Deere was failing severely, and the prior board found this through state contract. And I'm not sure what all transpired. I wasn't party of that information.
So that's how we came to acquire it?
Yes.
The state contract?
That was a state contract machine.
It makes sense to write a letter above the guy that's the local rep, right to the company.
Well, we've been dealing directly with Adams Center instead of the route salesman because he doesn't seem to be very responsive at all. We've got a parts man out in Watertown. He's been fairly helpful as far as he can go, but maybe I can try talking to somebody further up the food chain.
Go right to their website, go right to their website.
I've tried emailing the New Holland website and it gets kicked back. That could be my computer. Or it could have a virus and it's kicking it back.
Can I ask you a question on the van?
Sure.
Is it realistic, the cost that it's going to take to maintain that van? And I know it's an important piece of equipment for transporting small things around the village, but is it realistic, in a sense, to keep putting money and money and money in this van?
It's going to continually be a money pit. The front brakes will need to be replaced by summer. The rear tires barely make inspection, that's why I wanted to replace them.
I wonder if it might be more economical for us, if we're looking for a more economical vehicle to go that route, rather than a pickup or something smaller to, move around the village to take water reading meters, or reading water meters, or what we have to do.
Well, the van's used for reading water meters. And we really don't store a lot of material in that van in the course of the normal working day. And what we do store in it.
I guess what my question is are we just chasing more money after more money after more money in this van rather than looking at something which would be more productive from the standpoint of the village?
Well, can I answer that, Woody? I know I've been working with Woody. We're trying to come up with an equipment strategy, what equipment we will need in the future, have some money for it in the budget, not necessarily that it all gets bought next year, but, we want to get it like at least 3 years out, so that when it comes time to replace something, that we have some money to buy it instead of doing that, and to check our costs. Does it make sense to have, a diesel pickup to go read meters, or do we need something, it's gonna save us a little money for these little short hops here and there? We need to have a strategy, and I think we're gonna do that this budget. Yeah, Greg, you're 100% correct. We need to look at what makes sense.
Or do we just fix it enough so we can get by to the end of the budget year? That's my
Well,
question.
yeah,
My question
this
to
year,
the board.
we need to have a strategy for the upcoming.
We can get by without the tires, but I know the steering box isn't gonna be cheap to have installed.
Well, we don't want to end up with an unsafe vehicle. I don't think any of us here want
The tires
to be responsible.
are at the minimum.
Somebody skidding off the road and costing us a lot more money.
And then the steering box has to be replaced and the two front brake lines, and then we can get by till the new budget year. But I did a little research, a new cargo van is $13,000. And that's state contract. The new half-ton pickup, you're looking at $10,700 for a two-wheel drive pickup. And the same pickup that John Q. Public would purchase is close to $21,000. The equivalent.
We must have a lien on that backhoe though, right? So you'll take that in consideration before we go shopping.
Zero bond, zero interest rate on the back end. Is it?
I don't remember, I know it's on that sheet
Yeah.
somewhere.
Okay, are there any other questions for Woody, or are you finished your report?
I'm finished.
Okay, any other questions for Woody? Okay, thank you for your report, Woody. We'll have read correspondence.
Correspondence Fallon received regarding the water meter installation and the connection with backflow prevention device. Correspondence to Larry French regarding water meter installation. all I have for correspondence.
Yikes, us this month.
Is there any that correspondence we need to take action on, or under new business, or no?
Actually, we do have a response from Mr. Friend.
Okay, I read that. Is it long, or?
And we did have a letter from Mr. Roth, but he brought his up.
Okay, well, I'll finish that after. I don't believe there's any action we can take on that right at the moment, so. We do it. Okay, any questions for one item on correspondence? That's the least correspondence I've ever seen.
Never.
Thank goodness for Christmas. Okay, old business, GSA meters, manholes, there's nothing new there. Time Warner cable franchise, nothing new there. And abolition of the justice position, we're just waiting to see if
They do
a
have
petition.
some petitions.
We do have a petition. Okay. So if we have petitions, then we'll have to proceed with a referendum, either,
Not
Has to be
necessarily.
verified, right?
Has to be verified.
Yeah.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
I'm
that.
just-
That's okay.
okay.
I spoke with Mr. Keeble today. He said to accept them, date stamp them, and they are subject to review. We're waiting for the list of registered voters from the Board of Election.
Okay.
And then he says they need to be looked at by Donna, one council person, and myself, to verify that the voters that have signed are registered.
Okay.
And there's a percentage too, right? Of the registered.
20%.
20%.
The registered voters.
Okay, new business. Decision on whether to do easement or deed survey for Orville Palmer's property. Did we get any further counsel from Mr. Keeble on that?
What he said, if you are going to do an easement, which would probably be the least cost efficient for the village, if we do a deed, we have to do a transfer of title for the road to the village. You'll need a deed and a survey by someone such as Robert Sutherland. We would have to pay for the survey and for him to deed that piece of land to the village.
So you're telling us, did he have any recommendations as to which course would be best for us?
No. He just said that the village, the board needs to decide if they just want easement of the property or if they want him to deed the property to the village.
I think we should just go with an easement.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of a few inches, if I'm correct on that.
The property measurement is on the deed, say 165 by 49 and a half.
Okay.
The survey map says 165 by 35.
Good, okay. Well, I'm kind of agreeing with Steve, if we get an easement, I really don't know what more we would need to do there.
The easement's gonna end up on the deed anyway.
Right?
Right.
Mr. Palmer.
Mr. Palmer says that well, that was his remark was, I should have just did an easement.
Okay.
Yeah, we probably should make a motion to ask him for an easement, I guess. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. I was looking in the minutes, I guess we did put the trucks out to bid previous meeting.
Yeah, that was held off on my account. I was waiting to hear some feedback from a couple other areas, to see if they'd just buy it if we were in the municipal agreement.
Oh, so we still need to?
No, yeah, we need to put them out for bid now. I didn't get anything that was really worthwhile for an offer.
Okay, well, do you want to enumerate the equipment? So we can make a motion to put them out, put it out for bid?
1992 International, we call it, a 1992, it was registered as a 93. Dump truck with plow and wing. There's an airflow sander. That's operating condition. The truck is roadworthy. It's currently not on the road. We've turned in the plates on that vehicle. And we have a 1987 International truck for parts only.
Do you know what year that sander is, Woody?
No, I'd have to go through the purchase records and go back a few years. I'd say it's about six years old. And that's,
Was it new with the 92 truck?
it was new shortly after the 92 truck, so it's 5.5, 6 years old.
So you want to put these out to bid as 3 separate items?
3 separate items
Okay.
with the village to.
Okay, I entertain a motion that we put these items out to bid, so moved. Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. At this time, also under new business, I'd like Juanita to read the election resolution.
Notice of voter registration day, Village of Champlain, Champlain, New York. At a regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Champlain held on January 9, 2006, following resolution was offered by trustee, seconded by trustee, who moved its adoption, and it was duly carried unanimously. Whereas the next village election of officers of the Village of Champlain will be held on March 21st, 2006, and whereas no person shall be entitled to vote at any village election whose name does not appear on the register of the election district in which he claims to be entitled to vote. And whereas it is the duty of inspectors of elections to prepare such register of qualified voters for the district for which they are appointed. And whereas Section 516 of the election law of the state of New York requires that every village hold a registration day for each general village election. Now be it herefore resolved that, first, registration day for the village shall be held on Saturday, March 11, 2006. Second, such registration shall be held at the village office, 1104 Route 9 Main Street, from 12 noon until 5 p.m. Third, voting for the forthcoming village election shall be conducted at the village office, 1104 Route 9 Main Street, Champlain, New York. Polls will be open from the hours of 12 noon until 9 p.m. Fourth, at least 10 days prior to the registration day set in this resolution, a copy of such resolution shall be published in the official newspaper, and a copy thereof shall be posted in at least one conspicuous public place in such election district. Fifth, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Juanita Munoz, Clerk Treasurer, Village of Champlain, Champlain, New York.
Okay, I entertain a motion to accept this resolution.
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Do we have to enumerate this one, Juanita? Is there a,
We just have to do trustee one or
okay, we need to
pass it
enumerate,
and
so
then second.
just pass the second.
Right.
Motion and second.
Very
Pass,
good.
all right.
That's right.
Yeah, just one thing we need to remind everybody about, some important dates coming up. January 3rd was the first day that an individual may sign an independent nominating petition. And the first day to file the petition is February 7th. And the last day to file is February 14th. And that's gonna be on the posting also, these dates. No?
Not on this
Okay.
particular notice, no.
Okay, so just a reminder. All right, okay, Is there any further new business?
Look at that way.
There being no further new business, I would entertain a motion to retire to executive session,
So moved.
discuss salaries.
Seconded.
Motion carried. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All